Hello, AP scholars. Sorry I can't be here today, but I guess I'm here with you inside of the computer, kind of. Enough. Okay, enough for awkward intro. We're working on a fraction class. Woohoo! Fraction class is going pretty well, I hope. This is what we've been doing in case you've been away. We've been working on the assignment that is on the course webpage, which is right here. And we are uh, just going through the process of answering the various questions. And what we've done so far is we've made the instance variables, we've worked on the constructors, intentionally not doing the copy constructor, and now we started working on the accessor methods. So you're going to have to create methods that return the values of the numerator and denominator still. Simply something like get numerator, get denominator that returns those instance variables. We wrote a two-string method last class, and it just represents or returns a string that represents the numerator and denominator. And then today you can also write the two-double method that returns a fraction as a decimal number. So those are good things to work on. I think you'll be probably okay with that. Next is going to be the mutator methods. Hopefully you'll get lots done in this area as well. And I'll just mention that that'll be these ones are probably pretty good ones to work on. You just make a method that will set the numerator and one that will set the denominator, so two separate methods, and then just make sure that they don't allow the client program or whatever is using it to set denominator to 0. So that is a way to access, and change. I'm not feeling great. Access and change the 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 data, the state of the object. So there's that, and then yeah, so we go ahead and do that. The reducing one I'll talk about in a minute, but reducing a fraction to lowest terms is a fantastic exercise, and we'll take a look at that. But also probably today you'll have time to work on at least one of the algebraic methods. So multiplying is the easiest one. Dividing is just as easy, well, a little bit harder than multiplying. But then the adding and subtracting are a little bit tougher. Multiplying fractions, of course, you just multiply numerator with numerator and denominator with denominator. So that's fine. So without worrying about reducing fractions just yet, and without worrying about sort of canceling out a negative numerator and a negative denominator just yet, this is sort of the way that you interact with all four of the algebraic methods. If you have a fraction called half you've created and a fraction called third that you've created, the way you could, in this case, add them together is you would say half dot add third. So in other words, all the algebraic methods, so these four here, are going to just take another fraction object as a parameter, and then we'll, in this case, add whatever the numerator and denominator, that fraction to this fraction. So in the end, half will then have the third added onto it. So the state of half will change. That's how they're all going to work. And you can say the same thing with half dot multiply third and so on. And how they change is based on what operation you're choosing to use. So multiplying and dividing aren't too bad. Dividing, of course, is just multiplying by the reciprocal. So you multiply the numerator of one fraction by the denominator of the parameter fraction, and vice versa. You multiply the denominator of this fraction by the numerator of the parameter fraction. And then adding and subtracting kind of requires you to do a little bit more in terms of finding equivalent fractions that have the same denominators. So I'll just go mention that. That has to do with finding the greatest common factor, and feel free to do some practice fraction adding just to make sure you're familiar with that process. There's a great write-up about how to find the GCF, and I recommend taking a look at that. If you are having trouble with this, then we could talk about it more next class. But that's sort of the how you're going to go about doing that. So by the end of this class, if you want to be, on track and making progress with everybody else, then I would expect everyone to have. Oh, my battery's low. You'll have to have your accessor methods for get numerator, get denominator, and you probably already have two string. Also have two double. Do your mutator methods for setting, not quite this one, but for setting the numerator and denominator. You should create those for sure. That one shouldn't be too hard. Start working on multiplying and dividing, and hopefully get those done as well. And then we're going to need to work on adding, subtracting, and reducing for next class. But if you get there this class, then all the more power to you. So take a look later on for help if you get there on reducing fractions. It's in the helper method, and the GCF algorithm is down here. Also, might want to just, basically just read over these things, these helpful hints in case you're getting stuck. And then just have your questions ready to go next class. You can also post questions to the Facebook group. Okay, good luck everybody. I hope it goes well, and we'll see you next class.